Call to the booth. Aqib Talib here. The Browns kept us alive in our survivor. We got our best bets. Y'all better lock in. Paul, drop that beat.
It's Friday. It's time to get your money up going into week 3 of the fantasy football and football season in general. Harrison Sanford, Aqib Talib, joined by our producer Paul Aspen, as he does on every Friday as we look into some betting lines, fantasy football, and all things of that nature. Let's get you caught up on what happened in week 2. We picked the Rams in week 1. We picked the Browns in week 2 in our survivor pool, so we are still alive. I know some people aren't in their survivor leagues. It looks pretty easy this week because it's going to get harder soon. I think the primary options, Cardinals at the Jaguars, Broncos hosting the Jets. Aqib, what you thinking?
Definitely thinking the Broncos. Broncos at home versus Jets. Let's lock it in.
I'm shaking my head because Harrison said it was going to be an easy week. And as soon as you say that, man, putting the hex on it. He had to say that. He had to say that. He had to say that.
And they never easy week. This the league, baby. But the Broncos going to prepare. They got that tough-ass schedule coming up, man. They're going to make sure they get this one, man. We're going to ride the Broncos.
Yeah. Broncos make a lot of sense.
Yeah, for sure. And just so everybody can understand what that schedule is, we talked about it in our Thursday show. Just if you didn't know, now you will. Ravens, Steelers, Raiders, Browns, Washington football team, Dallas Cowboys, Eagles. Those are all coming up before the Week 11 bye. Then the Chargers, then the Chiefs. This is all coming up for the Denver Broncos. So it looks like if you're going to take them, you got to take them now. And that's exactly what we just did. Let's go ahead and pick our fantasy stars of week 3. But before we do that, we got to look at what happened in week 2. A lot of people went off. Teddy Bridgewater, a great game at the quarterback position. Aqib, you called me Cole Hardman getting a lot more targets. That's exactly what happened. Tom Brady, 4 or 5 touchdown passes. He does what he does. And Gronk got 2 touchdown receptions as well. Mm-hmm. And you called that specifically. And that made some people some money.
Fant was all right too now.
Yeah, Fant was all right too.
I think Fant got in his own.
Mm-hmm. But if we look across, when I looked across the DFS landscape, Aqib, it seemed Tyler Lockett was higher priced than DK Metcalf. And everybody kind of sees DK Metcalf as a superstar wide receiver. So the entirety of the DFS community, 70% ownership, 60% ownership. Everybody going in on DK Metcalf. Not only is he DK Metcalf, but he was cheaper than Tyler Lockett in the matchup against the Tennessee Titans. And yet, it was Tyler Lockett who went off again. Right. From your perspective, how in the world are fantasy football owners, DFS people who do prop bets, how are they supposed to decipher when to pick DK Metcalf over Tyler Lockett and vice versa? When do you know?
Man, you don't know till game day. So it's a toss-up every week, man. And in the game, you can't really take both guys away. So each team is going to pick which guy they want to take away, and the other guy's probably going to be the one who get those one-on-one deep balls. So it's been DK that the team is trying to double the first 2 weeks. Russell like his matchup on the other side. So you really don't know. It's week to week. You don't never know.
Is there, I feel like maybe there's something maybe more predictive. Maybe we could look back at like when they play certain division opponents. Maybe that could be easier. But you're just saying it's almost like a dice roll.
It's a dice roll every week. Even if teams don't double them and they just play like regular 3 deep or whatever all day. They probably had the same double moves drawn up on both sides. And it just, if the pressure come from this way, Russell might scramble out this way and look deep. If it come from this way, he scramble out this way and DK is on that side. So it's a dice roll with Russell. They I promise you, they don't game plan and say like, all right, DK, this is your week. You're going to go ham. They don't do that, man. It's the flow of the game. Who they think they can get deep on.
Russell Wilson can make it easier for everybody and just throw 2 touchdowns to them apiece. And ain't nobody got to worry about anything.
For real.
All right, let's go ahead and look at week 3, some stars that Aqib thinks are going to go off in their matchups. We're going to keep this a little bit short this week. But at running back, we saw Lamar Jackson, Latavius Murray, Tyson Williams, whoever else is in the backfield for the Baltimore Ravens. We saw what they did to the Chiefs this past weekend, and I think you're liking Austin Eckler to do it again.
Yeah, definitely like Eckler to do his thing out the backfield, catch some passes. You know, he coming back off that whatever injury he had a little injury, I think, hamstring, ankle, or something like that. But the more healthy he get, the more passes, the more involved he gonna get in that pass game, and that's where he really eats. So I expect him to be a lot more involved in the offense this week.
And then at the quarterback position, we just saw what Kyler Murray did to that Minnesota Vikings defense. Russell Wilson has been pretty strong so far this year, even though he didn't hit my over on touchdown passes last week. But another person who could potentially go off, and it seems likely, is Teddy Bridgewater against those New York Jets.
Definitely. Everybody is running free on the Jets, and the Broncos got a nice little flow going to their offense right now. And they'll do the same. They had guys running free. Fant, Patrick, Sutton, all those guys will be running free again this week.
We saw last year the New York Jets had a pretty solid rush defense, and their secondary was weak. Obviously, Rolab Saleh is there now, and maybe those things can change, but that secondary is still young, so it looks like Teddy can definitely go off. Paul, can you jump in here? Give us a little breakdown of what happened last week with our best bets, because it looks like you were the only one to get things right.
Well, I got lucky. Been on a little bit of a heater to start the season. We're in a contest in Vegas at the Circuit. We're 9-1 so far. So if we go 9-1 for the next 2 weeks and we finish first, there might be 150K coming our way. But we'll see. Got to stay hot. But 1-0 last week. Had the Cowboys. Just thought it was a good spot for them. So as we move on to this week, I do like the Seahawks in Minnesota, laying 1.5. The line's already moved up to 2 in some places, but I feel like the Seahawks were up by 14 against the Titans, right? The Titans made a last fourth quarter comeback. If the Seahawks win that game the way they're supposed to, that line stays at 3. This feels like a 3-point game. If you're getting less than 3, I like the Seahawks on the road in kind of a must-win spot. See, the Vikings are kind of a must-win spot too, but lost 2 one-score games, close games, things could kind of crumble there. So I like, out of the two teams, I like the Seahawks to go in there and get a win. So that's my pick for this week.
I like it. I'm gonna go Pittsburgh. At the house. I don't see the higher end AFC teams dropping too many in a row. Division game, I think Pittsburgh is gonna be 10, 11 wins. They're gonna be up there. They might barely miss their playoffs, but I think they're still gonna be a strong football team. So, and then the rest of the games, this a tough week right here, man. Look at them spreads. It's a lot of tough spreads. Road, what I'm saying? Road, home underdogs. So I try to stay away from the home underdogs. Steelers got a pretty low spread. Good defense. They'll put some pressure on Burrow. As long as they don't let Chase get deep, Steelers will be all right. So I'm gonna go Steelers -4.5. It's my best bet.
Yeah, definitely. Joe Burrow will definitely be under pressure, particularly if TJ Watt is healthy for that game. I know he left their game last week, and then I hope Deontay Johnson can get back on the field as well. It sucks to see him go down at the last play of the game. We'll see.
I think they said he's good though. I think they said he's solid.
I think we'll see if he's good for week 3. And then since you guys are the best experts, his prop is for reception yards. But Rondale Moore against the Jacksonville Jaguars seems about right, that whatever the over is, as long as it's not absurd, he's going to do it. Aqib, let me your thoughts, please.
I like the Rondale Moore. They probably have his yards at about, it probably be like that, like 65 yards, 55, 65 yards. But they get him involved. I've been watching these guys, so they got plays, they got ways to get him involved. So he definitely going to touch the ball. And it's more and more every week. He had a big week last week, so it'll probably be even more this week. So I love that bet.
I do have one long shot for you guys. Defensive Player of the Year, Jalen Ramsey, 20-1. I'm not just saying this because he's your guy, Keith. So
no, that's a legit bet right there.
Yeah. So The Athletic did that whole write about him being the star position, kind of reinventing defense a little bit. So he's got the narrative, right? He's got the media on his side. Now he's got Tommy, Kyler Murray, and Russ the next 3 weeks, and obviously plays Kyler and Russ twice. So he's got opportunity. He also plays against Aaron Rodgers. So he's got the opportunity, make big plays. He doesn't even have to pick those guys off. He's just got to play well, D up against those guys. They come out with a couple wins. People can look at Jalen. And then also to pad the stats, he's got Daniel Jones, Davis Mills, maybe they're playing Houston, Ryan Tannehill, Jimmy G twice, Jacksonville, and Kirk Cousins. So there's opportunities for picks there. So 20-1, and take a flyer on Jalen to win Defensive Player of the Year. Gilmore did it a couple of years ago. So
I'm gonna put that in. 20-1. I'm putting $1,000 on that for sure. Just how he started off the year.
Yep.
How they use him, and like you said, it's set up perfect. You got big games to get your name popping. Got some easier games, pad them stats up. Hey, it makes sense to me, man. You know what I'm saying? It's time for him to get it. If he have anything close to a dominant year, he'll be all right, man. 20-1. I'm putting $1,000 on that.
I also
pick up 20. If I pick up 20,000, I'm gonna send you $1,000, Paul.
My man, I appreciate that. Hey, I'll take a little commission. And I mean, people gotta be kind of sick of Aaron Donald winning it every year, right?
Yeah. They're gonna switch it up a little bit, and he right there with Aaron. So if he have a good year and Aaron have a good year, they both right there. They might just give it to Jalen this time.
Yep.
Let me go ahead and put my money down because y'all done messed up the odds with that breakdown. Y'all
don't release this episode yet. Yeah.
It made too much sense. We'll be back next week doing the same thing all over again. This is Call to the Booth with Harrison Sanford. That's Aqib Talib. We out.